Welcome to the Social Musings by Austin podcast. I'm your host, Austin from Austin. Well, it's July 2022. I'm here in Aspen, Colorado, coming to you live. It's officially the dog days of summer, and more Americans are traveling than ever before. A term that NPR has coined revenge travel. All over social media, I see friends currently in Europe, which is a trip I did in April. And if you're interested in learning more about my trip, you can listen to last month's episode titled Abducted in Amsterdam. Well, unfortunately, with intermittent worker strikes at places like Amsterdam Schiphol, Paris Charles de Gaulle, and London Heathrow, travel to and from Europe can become quite complicated, even though the U.S. has now finally waived the required COVID test to re-enter the country. Additionally, the cost of flights to Europe are approaching all-time highs, which can make a vacation prohibitively expensive for many people. Therefore, as in the past few summers, I decided to travel to Colorado to spend a portion of June and July. Here are 3 Colorado mountain towns to visit if you plan to come up here to the mountains this summer. Number 1 is Denver, and I know you might disagree with me that it's a mountain town, but its altitude is at 5,279 feet, and literally within 30 or 45 minutes you can be in the mountains. Now, Denver is the usual starting place for most Colorado expeditions. Should you decide to fly to Denver, tickets from Austin are actually reasonably affordable relative to other non-stop flights, and you can find many of them on Southwest, United, and Frontier. Should you choose to drive to Colorado from Austin, it's going to be about a 1,000-mile one-way trip. If you assume 25 miles per gallon, which is what I got, that's 40 gallons of gas, which is approximately $200 at today's gas prices of $5 a gallon. So really, either way, both modes of transportation are both relatively affordable and easy. Now, I used to visit Denver once a quarter for work, and I've really grown to appreciate the mile-high city, which many say is similar to Austin, due to its young workforce and vibrant scene. And I agree. If you have some time to spend in the Denver area before making your way into the mountains, the absolute best option from the airport to downtown Denver is the RTD A-Line train, which goes to Union Station every 15 minutes from the airport. Now, to get to the train after you get to the terminal and your baggage claim, follow the signs to the Westin Hotel/train to downtown. You'll go down a big escalator, buy your tickets at a ticket machine, get on the train, which is waiting there for 15 minutes before it leaves and another one comes. So it's very much like the Heathrow Express and other trains in Europe. Now, the train ride into downtown Denver Union Station takes about 40 minutes. And I purchased a day pass for $10.50, which also allows for transfers to other forms of public transportation in and around the Denver metropolitan area. Well, as the train pulls in, you literally walk off at Union Station, which happens to be one of the most happening places in downtown Denver. Downtown Denver is very walkable, and you can make easy connections from Union Station to the free 16th Street Mall bus, which takes you across town along one of the most popular tourist thoroughfares in downtown Denver. The day I was in Denver in June, it was a stunning afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-60s, y'all. Sunny skies, 0 humidity, which was a far cry from the 100-degree heat I'd left in Texas earlier that morning. I met a friend at Union Station, and we decided on a restaurant that's part of the complex. Now, many of the dining establishments there have plentiful outdoor seating, including picnic tables with large parasols and umbrellas. It was a cool vibe. After lunch, we walked through McGregor Square on our way to Coors Field. I had never heard of McGregor Square. It's a relatively new and super modern public space surrounded by the brand new Raleigh Hotel and several bars and restaurants. There's even a large outdoor seating area and a massive TV screen to watch sporting events. Well, speaking of professional sports, Denver's a town rich in sports history. When I was there, the Colorado Avalanche hockey team was in the Stanley Cup Finals, which they won on June 26th. And the city was full of Avs fans in their hockey jerseys getting ready for the game. Go, y'all. The Colorado Rockies were also playing an afternoon game that day at Coors Field. So what a day to be there in Denver in the summer. Another place downtown to check out is Larimer Street, which is a hybrid of Austin's Dirty and West 6th streets. That's Dirty 6th and West 6th. High-end food and beverage establishments line the street, and bunting runs along the entire thoroughfare. While I was only in Denver for a day before heading onward into the mountains, there are other activities I wish to check out next time I'm there, including maybe on my way back home to Austin in a couple weeks. High on my list would be the Meow Wolf experience, which I hear is mind-blowing. Can't wait to hopefully hit that and the Denver Art Museum. Well, my next stop in our mountain town number 2, which is definitely a mountain town, is Crested Butte, Colorado, at an altitude of a whopping 8,909 feet. That's right, almost 9,000 feet up. Well, Crested Butte, known as CB to locals, began as a supply camp for silver mines in the 1870s. Then CB was a major coal mining town until the 1950s, and now is a world-renowned destination for outdoorsy types. You know who I'm referring to. You know, the crowd with the mountain bikes and the beards and the Patagonia clothing. While I have a mustache instead of a beard, and I gotta say the right mountain-related clothing, I gotta admit, I have never been able to ride a bike in my life. That's like a huge admission coming to you right now on the Social Musings by Austin podcast. I think probably only my family and very close friends even know that. Anyway, yeah, zero coordination or balance on a bike, period. So let's not go there. But despite that embarrassing fact, I agree that Crested Butte has some of the absolute best outdoor expositions in Colorado, given its plethora of hiking, mountain biking, and 4x4 off-road trails. While in Crested Butte, I would spend the morning hiking, the afternoon napping and hot tubbing, and the evenings eating. #best life. Last year, I hiked to the summit at Gothic Mountain, and I hope you go to the Social Musings by Austin website to read that thrilling climb where I ended up over 11,000 feet in elevation. This year, my favorite hike in CB was Beckwith Trail Pass. The hike began with a steady climb through near unpassable running streams with downed trees that we had to maneuver on like a balance beam just to make it across. When my family and I reached the stunning alpine meadows in the midst of many snow-capped mountain peaks, we sat on some rocks and literally had a mountain picnic right there. We were soaking in the cool air, inhaling the smell of the wildflowers beginning to bloom, and feasting our eyes on a mountaineer's paradise. We also did a lot of 4x4 off-roading on both the Walrod Road and Rustler's Gulch. And to access many of the best hikes in CB, you will need a 4x4 vehicle. Here are some other fun things to do while in Crested Butte. On Monday evenings in the summer, they have an outdoor concert in the park next to the Arts Center downtown. And honestly, it feels like a smaller Blues on the Green in Zilker Park in Austin. Everybody had their blankets out there, food, beverages, the whole 9 yards. Great atmosphere. The Crested Butte Farmers Market is on Sunday mornings, and the longest line is for the bakery, which offers amazingly fresh baked bread, pastries, and pies. If you're looking for an authentic mountain town dive bar, check out Kochevar's on Elk Avenue, which is the main thoroughfare in downtown Crested Butte. Kochevar's is the oldest running establishment in town, and while there you can mix with locals, watch the Avs win the Stanley Cup, as I did, and play billiards, darts, or shuffleboard. As I said, I spent the evening stuffing my face, sampling the world-famous family-style fried chicken dinner at the Slogart, the delicious pepperoni pies at Secret Stash Pizza, and home-style chicken parmesan, baby, at Marchitelli's Gourmet Noodle. Now, a great place to stay is the Pioneer Guest Cabins, if you can actually get a reservation, because they usually fill up about a year in advance. I'm not kidding. The Scarp Ridge Lodge is the fanciest hotel in town, with prices currently running around $400 a night. All right, I had to put on the snootier accent because we were talking about the fancy hotel, and now we are on our way to Aspen. Altitude 7,908 feet. On July 1st, I left Crested Butte and drove to Aspen. It's a 2.5-hour journey through winding dirt roads, mountain passes, and lush green valleys with roaring rivers running alongside. Yeah, there ain't anything like it on I-35 in Texas. It was stunning. As I pulled into town, American flags lined the streets, and waves of green from Aspen Mountain titillated my eyes. The town of Aspen is so immaculate right now. It looks like a movie set for one of those famous 4th of July films. When I drove past the Gucci, Dior, and Louis Vuitton stores on my way to visit the famous hatter Kimosabe, I realized that I was no longer in Crested Butte anymore. Even though the two towns are only 25 miles apart as the crow flies, yet a mountain pass which can only be hiked stands between. Similar to Crested Butte, Aspen does have a farmer's market on Saturdays from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And by the time we arrived at 10 a.m., lots of the produce was already sold out. So if you want to do some shopping, get there early. The farmer's market is an Aspen tradition, and at least when I was there, there's probably more socializing than shopping, if you get what I mean. As alluded to earlier, Aspen is one of the best places to spend July 4th due to all the patriotic activities that take place. In the run-up to the holiday, there are many private parties, musical performances, and I attended several ranging from block parties to bonfires, with live music up in the Rocky Mountains. On the actual day of July 4th, an old-time parade winds through the streets of downtown Aspen from 11 a.m. to noon. After the parade, residents flock to the Benedict Music Tent on the campus of the Aspen Institute, the famous think tank, for an old-fashioned patriotic music symphony that starts at 4 p.m. The Aspen Art Museum also had a block party that I attended during that day. Later on in the evening, there's a laser light show, since fireworks are now considered unfriendly to the environment and definitely do represent a fire hazard. Well, if you're not in Aspen during July 4th, there's still many things to do around town during the summer. Here's some hikes and other activities to check out while in Aspen. The hike up Smuggler Mountain to the observation deck is one of the most popular hikes in and around downtown Aspen. The climb up Smuggler Mountain Road is a 2.9-mile up and back trail that takes you up over an 800-foot ascent in just under a mile and a half. Maroon Bells is the most well-known and popular hike in the Aspen area. There are only 2 ways to access this trail, which happens to be the one where you go over then West Maroon Pass, you can get to Crested Butte on foot. There are only 2 ways to access this trail. It's parking or a shuttle from Aspen Highlands. As of early July, there were 0 parking reservations available when I checked the calendar, so good luck with that. Even if you are lucky enough to snag a $10 parking lot reservation, you will need to arrive before 8 a.m. for your spot or after 5 p.m. Now, the option that many of us will take is the shuttle from Aspen Highlands, which also requires a reservation, and the round-trip fare for the 30-minute journey is $16 per person. They advise on their website that you should arrive 45 minutes before your shuttle, for if you miss the shuttle, you will not be able to be placed on a later one. I think they might have put this because the roundabout that is at the turn for Aspen Highlands was under construction, but as of July 11th, when I'm recording this podcast now, it is now open, so I'm not sure you need 45 minutes in advance. That's what they say. Plan for a long day, because the hike is a long and beautiful one, and with 2 30-minute shuttles and a lot of downtime, it's basically going to be your entire day. For culture lovers, the Aspen Music Festival, which runs until the end of August, is currently underway. There's also the Aspen Art Museum. And last year, you might recall on my blog, I interviewed Jackie Robinson, famous baseball player, who had incredible pearls of wisdom for all of us. And in that article, I also featured an exhibit about the famous writer Hunter S. Thompson, who's one of my favorites. They had an exhibition at the Aspen Art Museum, so check out that article from last year at www.socialmusingsbyaustin.com or Google Social Musings. It's even easier. All in all, I'm going to be spending a month here in Colorado, and I'm getting, well, I guess I'm just past the halfway point. I hope to arrive back in Austin refreshed and ready for the rest of the summer and the beginning of fall, something I wish for all of you guys out there. So wherever you choose to travel this summer, please be safe. If you missed last month's episode on the Social Musings by Austin podcast, you should listen to my story about being abducted in Amsterdam. My mission at Social Musings by Austin is to entertain, inspire, and help others achieve more fulfillment in their lives. I hope I'm providing you a thoughtful escape from your everyday grind. Please message me with any feedback or positive stories you have. I'm all ears. You never know, you may just be my next guest on the Social Musings by Austin podcast. I wish you all a wonderful rest of the summer, and I'll be back next month with another great episode. Take care.